All right then. Hey guys, welcome to Travel Photography with UNSW Photo Club. I'm Bernadette and I'm here today with Anson, our club president, and we'll introduce ourselves a little bit later. But yeah, I guess today we're talking about travel photography, so just photography whilst we're traveling overseas and also interstate. So I guess a bit about Photo Club, if you don't know who we are. We are UNSW's photography club. We provide photo talks, so where we just talk about different genres of photography, get you a little bit interested, give you a little bit more information if you are getting started. We also do workshops. So these are more beginner levels. So if you're looking to just, I guess, dabble in a little bit of photography, never done it before, workshops are where we normally start out. We also do, nearly every single week we have outings. So right now there's not that many, but we still nearly every single week. We also do road trips. So these are during term breaks. And we also do day trips to different areas, which are a little bit further than our normal Metro Sydney, but they are completed within a day. We also do competitions. We are currently holding one right now, and competitions are very frequent and there's tons of prizes. And we also do equipment loans, which are free for our members. And we do many more other activities as well. So if you're interested, there is a QR code on the slide, and that will take you to our website. So for more information, check out the QR code. And yeah. Okay, so I guess I'll let Anson introduce himself first.
So hello everyone, I'm Anson, so the president of Photo Club, and basically I have over 8 years of photography and videography experience, and what basically I do is like my hobby is travel, so that's why I'm talking here today. I do like different genres of photography, like travel, landscape, architecture, as well as some events in the past, and also do have a Instagram, and you guys can go to have a look. So basically mainly on travel photography as well. So now I'll pass the time to Billy to talk about the first part of the photo talk.
Yeah, so Kate, if I didn't introduce myself before, I'm Bernadette. I'm more of an amateur photographer. I'm interested in travel as well, architecture, symmetry, and recently started dabbling in flat lays. My hobbies are traveling and food, of course. I mean, who doesn't really like food? All right, so basically today we're kind of covering three main topics. So travel tips. So that's just kind of a little bit of the introduction into, I guess, getting started into just traveling in general, and also a little bit of photography there as well. And then some genres of photography whilst traveling. So things that you can actually, I guess, take pictures of whilst you're traveling. So not just taking pictures of landmarks, but actually like composing them and just all that special stuff. So next, we also will be going through places to go as well. Yep. All right. So travel tips. Basically, we'll be going through mostly equipment. First of all, so this is mostly to do with your camera and your lenses. We've also got clothing and bags. So this clothing and bags and electronics are also to do with general traveling as well, safety and trip planning. All right. So for the camera, mostly we would carry like prime lenses and zoom lenses. Or you can pick one or the other. So depending on what you actually want to be taking photos of, for prime lenses, it's usually for better quality. Prime lenses are sharper. So we can choose from, say, the 24mm, 35mm, and 50mm. But zoom lenses, it's kind of, personally, I would probably pick the zoom lens as well, because you can't always be walking further or closer to your subject. So it's kind of a standard that you do bring a zoom lens. And for telephoto lenses, if you are taking photos of animals that you can't exactly get close to, so that's really useful. And ultra wide lenses, especially for landscape and architecture, if you don't want to be just capturing one small part of the landscape around you, you do want to be capturing the whole scenery. There's also some recommended focal lengths, which we've just put on the slide as well. So for the camera, so for cameras, you can kind of choose from mirrorless, DSLR, and there's also the sensor sizes that you would have to take into account. So full frames, for micro four thirds, and mobile as well. So mobiles are probably the most easiest one to be carrying around with you when you travel. And so the things that we would consider weight, quality, and genre. especially with mobile, probably that's going to be the lightest one. And for full frames, they can get quite heavy sometimes. And so also depending on what you want to be shooting, the camera body that you choose is going to be highly dependent on that. All right, so depending on where you're traveling to, what you're doing on your journey, cameras, tripods, batteries, what you actually need will depend on all that. So action cameras, if you're heading into some wet and wild areas, so they are waterproof and you can attach them, I guess, to your body so you won't have to be holding them. 360-degree cameras, and there's also drones, but do make sure that if you are flying a drone in a place that you've never been to before, do check your local laws and regulations. And even if you have been there before, laws and regulations do change, so make sure you are aware of all of them. Tripods, you can get the super compact ones. Do advise you to get the compact tripod. Most tripods will be compact, so for travel photography, tripods will be great. And they're light as well, but strong enough just for your setup. Battery, make sure that you bring enough batteries. Travel photography, you don't want to be caught having low battery whilst being at an amazing spot. So bring extra batteries, especially in cold conditions. That's when your battery will actually drain faster. All right, so accessories, make sure you do bring a lens cleaning kit. You don't really know where you're going. Might be like a ton of dust there. So make sure that you are cleaning your lenses. Make sure that you do bring filters as well, depending on where you're going. So you can bring like the neutral density filter, so ND. That's for kind of long, you can use this for longer shutter speeds when you do want to filter out the light. So when there's too much light, make sure that you are using that ND filter. There's also the circular polarizer linear filter, which you can use to reduce the glare from surfaces. So a lot of the time when we're capturing scenery, we don't really want that glare off the reflective surfaces, and graduated neutral density filter for large dynamic range as well. So clothing is kind of, I guess, a bit more, I guess, intuitive depending on how much traveling you've done. For colder weather, of course, make sure you rug up, make sure you layer up, keep moisture away from your skin. So make sure that your base layers do stay dry. Mid layers for keeping your body warm, and outer layers, of course, for blocking wind and water. Yep, so clothing in general is, I guess, make sure you pack for the right conditions. So make sure you do your research before going, and so that you're not caught unaware. So yeah, just to take a note as well, cotton or denim for hiking and outdoor activities is not so much recommended. And yeah, do make sure you protect yourself. Sunglasses, sunscreen, and water, although most commonly I'd say we are used to that in Australia with like the really strong sun. So yeah, do make sure that you are prepared for all sorts of conditions. And yeah, so with travel photography, especially well, just travel in general as well, if possible, use a bag that doesn't resemble a camera bag, because we don't want our cameras to be stolen, especially because cameras are going to be super duper expensive as well. Yep, and pack according to what you need, pack lightly. That's kind of, I guess, self-explanatory as well. So on to electronics. Do bring a computer, especially if you're going to be editing your photos basically on the day that you are taking them. A hard disk, preferably an SSD if you can, although they can be a bit expensive. SD cards to take as many photos as you like. Make sure you do bring more than one, just so that you do take as many photos as you like, as I said before. Bring a charger, hand carry if possible to prevent luggage loss, and a power strip so that you can be charging multiple things at the same time. And to make sure you bring a travel adapter. So do make sure you actually do your research beforehand to check whether the plug in that country is going to be the correct one, and beware of the plug depth, even if the plug is correct. Yep, so hand carry luggage. Most airlines allow 7 kilograms for economy class, even though most of us won't be flying anywhere anytime soon. For hand carry luggage, do try to keep your camera lenses. Most of those expensive gears, keep it with you on the hand carry luggage if possible. Yep, and safety really to do with traveling. We do want you to be safe, so always keep your belongings safe. Put your backpack in front of you in crowded places so that you're always watching all your belongings, and put your camera in your bag if it's unsafe. Don't leave your items unattended. That's kind of, I guess, intuitive as well. And don't go to dangerous places unless you know exactly what you're doing. So with traveling in general, do make sure you plan your trip, especially with if you're planning to, I guess, take photos of different places, different events. Weather and season are going to play a huge part. That's also with budgeting as well. If you're traveling during the off season, you're going to have a great time with you're going to have a better time with budgeting your trip. And with season, you will have different events going on in that country, in that city, during different seasons. So timing, events, parades, and festivals. Transportation, a lot of the time, if you plan in advance, you can either get discounts or just be able to read, sometimes reading the booking website in your own language as well. And accommodation, if you book earlier, sometimes you can actually get places at half the price than if you book, say, like a month beforehand. So if you book a year beforehand, you actually can get the same accommodation for maybe even half the price. Yep, so plan your trip. So yeah, for the importance of reservations and schedules, do make sure that you are having an itinerary, that you have planned out where you're going to go, how you're going to get there. It's easier to communicate if you have things done beforehand. And sometimes you might not be able to even book a seat because they might actually be booked out as well. So make sure you do kind of, I guess, account for that. Yep, so understand the purpose of your trip. If it's for relaxation or mainly photography, remember to put down your camera and enjoy the view. And if you are planning to do a lot of photography on your trip, to make sure you're aware of all the different places that you want to go. I guess if you are on Instagram and you do like search up the city beforehand and you've seen a lot of the different places that other people go to, if those are going to be your picks as well, then do make sure that you have researched those areas as well. Yep, so useful applications, tons of maps out there to build your own itinerary. Websites like TripAdvisor, Lonely Planet, those things are great for keeping track of people's reviews as well. So make sure that you have done your research. Research is kind of basically the thing that's going to help you the most during your travels. And do be flexible because not everything's going to go to plan as always. Yeah, I think that's it for travel tips. I'm going to hand it over to Anson to continue with photography genres in travel photography.
Yeah, thank you. So basically, if you have any questions or any comments, feel free to put it in the chat, or if you're on Facebook Live, you can put a comment. I have it next to me, so I will be answering your questions if you have any. So right now, let's get on to with genres. So like giving you some photography tips on how to prepare for different genres and when you come to different situations. So there are plenty of genres. So first one would be the landscape one. So it's pretty common. So the first thing that you should think about would be your location, where you're going to take the photos. Maybe sometimes you just drive on the road and suddenly find a good spot to take some good pictures as well, especially if you're driving by yourself. And also season, so that will be spring, summer, autumn, winter. What kind of season are you looking for? Especially that will affect your scenery that you are looking. So if you want to go to, let's say, Scandinavia, your experience during summer would be really different from winter, and same for like other regions as well. So if you're looking for cherry blossom in Japan, you should go there like around March or something. If you're looking for autumn leaves, that would be around October. So, and also the time of the day is a sunrise, sunset. Generally for places near the equator, I would say avoid middays because that will be strong light over your head during the noon. So try to avoid that, and so that you get some good pictures, just like this one that I took near sunset time. Actually, it's on the ship, so sometimes you can find some take some good photos while you're on travel as well. And also think about composition. So it's something that even though you use mobile phone, it's something that you should be considering about. So here are some like examples. So different places have different landscape features, and then you want to take the photos like mountains or fjord, something like that. And this photo, is it like the wallpaper of Windows XP, but it is not taken in US, instead it is in Japan. So basically, yeah, sometimes explore around, uh, do some research and get some recommendations from your friends or families. Maybe sometimes you get some good places to go. I know this place is not that popular, like for general tourists. You should be a bit more familiarized with Japan if you want to go there. Um, Nowadays, traveling there is pretty easy. Just get the trains. So I think it's something that general people can go, but you have to do a bit research before you go there. And also like waterfalls, caves, so that if you want to take waterfalls, if possible, if the situation allows you to do it, bring a tripod, bring an anti-filter so that you can capture um, the motion. Like this one is like the water flow that is blurry, so you can capture the motion of it. And also for caves, so some caves they don't allow you to take photos, so you have to check whether if the case allows you to do it. And also, of course, like your camera should be a better one, because in low light condition, a mobile phone wouldn't work too well. And ensure that you don't use flash, because like flash could be somehow not good for the animals there. So try to not to use the flash if possible. And for most landscape scenarios, using a flash wouldn't helping you at all. So of course, sunset, sunrise. For sunrise, yeah, you do have to spend a little bit effort, like to get up early and get some good pictures. But sometimes, it is worth to do it. Sunrise is pretty easy, so probably you walk by seaside or whatever, you probably get some good photos if that day is has a good weather. So coming for architecture, so what we are looking for is some like symmetry, lines, shapes, perspective. So for this one, it's like high um, skyscrapers cramping together. So this one I use a telephoto lens, so that it just compress the whole scenery. So we can look for lines, like for the left bottom one, we'll talk about foreground and background. Then we have light trails and also reflection on the buildings. If there's like a water lake in front of that, then you can make use of the sceneries around it to build the buildings. It can be indoor, it can be outdoor. So this one is about reflection. And then coming on to portraiture, that will be something taking photos of your friends, of your families. So you want to capture your happiness and remember the moment of your travel. So I think it's one of the quite important, especially for general people, but for travel photographer, that may not be something that you might would like to do. Like I personally don't take portraiture a lot, but for general tourists, it is something that you want to do. So prepare for taking photos of friends, of your families, for that. And coming on the street that would be some like street markets, maybe in China or in like Asian countries. There are lots of street markets, or even in like other countries, you can see like some booth around there, so you can capture a bit. And then like trails, like people walking around the city, or sometimes you have parades, festivals, or cityscape, or something that I forgot to mention is would be firework. In some places you may see that, but nowadays we don't have it too much because of COVID. But before COVID, there's lots of fireworks around the world, and if you if you travel during that season, maybe it's worth for you to spend the time to go there and have a look and take some good pictures. So for this one, it will be like light trails of people walking by the city, so you can have capture the street, the view of the street, and also some like cable car. That's what San Francisco is famous for, and also the harbor. That's what Copenhagen is famous for. It's like some tourist attraction, uh, like to do list for tourists. So for food, many people love food, so same as I do. So you can capture different kinds of food, like Japanese, just like what you know, like for these two photos, that actually I took it on my mobile phone only. So using mobile phone, you can always capture some good food, and I think it's more convenient if you just take out your mobile phone from your pocket, rather than getting your camera and set up everything. Like if you're in, especially in a rush or in like a market situation, it's not that convenient for you to do so. So a good mobile phone may help you a lot in some sort of situation. So like Thailand food, Southeast Asian food, these are very tasty, and also Chinese food. So different kinds of food that you can try out during your travel. Go online, see what restaurant they are famous for, so that you can book these places, because sometimes many restaurant requires booking, sometimes even in months advance. So you better be well prepared so that you have your best travel experience, not just for photography, but for your whole experience. So coming on for events, if you have that opportunity to be the event photographer for overseas trips, congratulations. It's something that not many people can do, but that means you'll probably be very busy. So what we usually take is like event highlight, so capture the fun, exciting moments of the trip, and also if you're required to like same day edit, then you have to be well prepared. Maybe have some filing system in place so that you have a very efficient workflow. Like after you go back to your hotel, import your photos from your cards and then put on Lightroom, do the editing real quick, and then we can share on social media so people know what you're doing on that day. It is quite, I would say, challenging if you have to do like same day edit and also event photography for overseas events. So now we'll talk about where to go. So there are lots of places around the world that we can go, and also so that here are just some recommendations to give you some inspirations of where you should go for your next holiday. But definitely these are not the whole thing. This is not the complete travel guide for everything. There's a lot of places around the world for you to explore if you want to. So first of all, let's talk about Australia. So pretty cool. Kiama is a good place for the blowhole. It's famous for a blowhole. We'll be having a tour tomorrow to go to Illawarra. So that unfortunately tickets have been sold out. But if you're going there, so you can get some good pictures. Hopefully you can get some good pictures of the blowhole. So wait a bit. Be patient so that you can capture the moment, and also make sure you put on continuous focus and also continuous shoot so that you can capture the moment that the waters just spark out. And also you can make use of reflections to make use of the good weather so you can capture some good photos, landscape photos. So next one would be Otway Treetop, something that I've been to like quite a years ago. But for treetops, I would usually say look up, because the trees are so tall, so that you can capture the how tall the trees above the forest. And also on the treetop, you can take pictures of different walkway buildings. Is something that you can do, and try to look around and see like maybe some minor details, some flowers, animals. Is something that you may look for. And also, of course, talking about Victoria, definitely Melbourne is something that we should talk about. And also for that we can go to Tasmania, so it's within Australia, and Tasmania has lots of travel resources, and also Melbourne, that you can go to the Great Ocean Road, lots of great sceneries there. Also for Phillip Island, for the penguins, but unfortunately for Phillip Island, I don't think you can take photos there. But anyway, it's really good to have a chance to see. Sometimes, even though you don't take photos, but it is always a good to and a good opportunity to see different stuff, different animals, because as we all know, we have to protect the animals. So your safety and the protection of the others is more important than your photography. And also coming, speaking of Australia, there actually many places are good places to visit, like in West Australia or Alice Spring or Gold Coast. Is something that you probably may look for. So it's something that we can travel now from Australia. That will be New Zealand. So so let's talk about it. So mainly, the tourist attraction are mainly in South Island. North Island, there are a couple of them, but I think the South Island ones are much better than the North Island ones. So, if you ask me where should I go for New Zealand, I would say Queenstown is definitely something that you should look for. So, basically, really beautiful sceneries, just within the town. And also, if you travel a little bit further, that will be Tasman Glacier. So you have the opportunity to go on the glacier and have a look. Milford Sound. And also, if you have the opportunity, flying around Queenstown would be a really good options. And what you see from the sky is really different from on the land. So the next one would be Japan. So it's basically a place for all seasons. So no matter it's if you're talking of spring, that would be cherry blossom. Summer, many places like mountains or whatever, like Mount Fuji, you may want to climb during the summer. And also for winter, that would be autumn leaves. So basically, different of our regions of Japan have autumn leaves and cherry blossom. So make sure you check the date because um, different region have different date. They have like maybe Kyushu and Hokkaido may have like a difference of over a month. So you have to check in advance and whether to change. So it is about whether you are lucky enough or not to to be able to capture the best moment. So there are plenty of places like Hokkaido or like for this one that will be Mount Yoshino, that will be during the autumn leaves period. So you can see some red leaves around. I mean, this is not the best. This place is also known for cherry blossom. So that will be all like the whole environment will be cherry blossom and lots of cherry blossom trees there. And also some George, some natural sceneries around Japan is something that you can explore. Apart from the city that probably you guys know, like Tokyo, Osaka, Nagoya, that will be some modern cities that you can take different kinds of photos there. That will be the city view. But also, if you try to explore the countryside, the rural area, then take the train or get on the coach is something that you can try on. For that photo on the left, that will be Takayama. So that is a photo that wasn't taken by me, but it's something that you can capture in Japan, especially that you are not when you are not in the major cities. But so how to go there, how to prepare, get the trains is something that you can do, and also driving by yourself if you have the driving license. So these two options are the great options that you can do if you want to explore like the part that other than the cities, then it is something that you can look for. And also for Asasa, so that will be a really famous place in Tokyo. And I think as a tourist, probably you're going to go there and get some great pictures, as well as to like other places around Tokyo, like Yokohama, or probably if you want to go a bit further, then like getting a Shinkansen to Osaka or Nagoya would be something that you may consider, especially if you are like a first time traveler to Japan. So another place that is something that I will talk about today will be Hong Kong. So what you can capture is like the cityscape. Of course, Hong Kong is known for its Victoria Harbour. So basically, you can climb up different mountains and hills and then capture the city view. So it's pretty different from the rest of the world, where like if you go on mountains, that would be really purely countryside. But in Hong Kong, it's some if you climb up the mountains, probably what you see is the city view if you look down the hill. So this is another photo from the other side of the Victoria Harbour to capture the night scenery of Hong Kong. And also Hong Kong is definitely known for its city view, so definitely like go exploring Central, like other Victoria Harbour, Tsim Sha Tsui or Mong Kok, you will probably get some really good photos with ease, like even on the footbridge, because Hong Kong has a lot of footbridge, so you can try to explore there around, and probably you can get some good photos. But also on the other hand, like just 30 or 40 minutes bus ride, you can get to like some uh, beautiful scenery places. So that is something that you can try to do it. As a first-time traveler, Hong Kong is a place that you has a very convenient transport. So definitely you can try to go take a bus to Sai Kung and then get a ferry from there. You can go to like many good places for sceneries. So the next one that I'm going to talk about would be Southeast Asia. So there are plenty of countries there, and we'll just talk a few of them. Like Indonesia, there will be like Bali. So there's lots of islands there, so that you can like probably get on the boats and travel around. And also Maldives. So Maldives is not part of Southeast Asia, but it is well known for like sea and then for beach and then for sun. So it's like a place for chill, for excellent landscape, for maybe some water activities. So both Southeast Asia and Maldives, and also Thailand, they are really known for that kind of stuff. And if you have the opportunity, then I would recommend you to go there. And also for Singapore, that will be like modern cities, buildings, and also you may have some able to see some old buildings. But for example, um, the one on the left that will be Changi Airport, the new terminal, and also the right that will be Marina Bay, so that during nighttime or even daytime you can capture different city sceneries. Pretty much similar with Hong Kong, but they have like other places to go, like Sentosa, the island. You have aquarium, you can beaches. There are lots of stuff. You can just purely spend a day over there. So coming on to Thailand, as I've said before, that would be sunshine and like water activities, and also for temples. If you are something that you may try to want to have a go, like the palace in Bangkok or other temples. So for Vietnam, what I show here is like buildings, uh, architecture stuff, but also on the other side, they have pretty beautiful scenery. So like Nha Trang or Da Nang, or even the one I forgot, is you can take cruise ship there. It's in the north of Vietnam, so you can take cruise ship from Singapore or Hong Kong. Then you can get there and explore around. And also Hanoi, that I haven't been there before for Hanoi, but it's something that maybe you can try to explore around the cities and also go to different part of the Vietnam. And coming on to Cambodia, Cambodia would be mainly for general tourists. You should go to Siem Reap. So that's when you go get to visit the Angkor Wat, Angkor Thom. Become this different kind of temples that were built many years ago. The only thing that I'll remind you and recommend is because for Angkor Wat and that kind of all kinds of temples, they were built like many years ago. So their condition are quite poor. So the earlier you go, the better you can see, the more you can see. And also take a very compact gear. So because sometimes you have to climb a stair or ladder like 35 degrees, 45 degrees. So you have to be well prepared for. And also, since it is in the middle of the forest, please do prepare for some the mosquitoes. So I had a very bad experience personally when I went there because of mosquitoes. So be well prepared for that. I think like I went there like over a decade ago. So basically, I think nowadays would be better. And also, Siem Reap, there should be like lots of tourist places that you can go, like bar or something that you can chill around. So the next one I'll be talking about is Europe. So Europe, the first one that we'll be talking about is Italy. So you can look for some architecture, especially in Europe, like UK or France or Germany or like Italy. Lots of good buildings, old buildings that have different architecture style that you can go for. Like also like for that will be Prague, and also for Eastern Europe that will Prague, and also Austria that you can go try to visit. and get some good pictures. The only thing that I would remind is about the criminal activities in uh, Europe, that the thieves are quite common, so that just bring a more compact gear, I would say, so that people don't realize you're doing it. So you can get good pictures, but also keeping yourself safe. Your personal safety should be as your first priority. So others, some buildings around Florence, and also there's a place that I don't have photos to show here, but I heard it really famous for photography, for landscape. It is called Dolomites. It is in Italy, but the period that you can go there is pretty short. So uh, be well prepared as always. Maybe you can join a photography tour or like a general tour if you are not that kind of uh, like fan into photography, because usually photography tour are more expensive than the general one. They have like special arrangement for you to capture good photos, like maybe go out during sunrise or sunset. So and also like different arrangements, so you can go to different places to get different good photos. So or if you are just like a general tourist, I just want to get some good pictures during my trip. Travel tour is something that maybe you can do if you don't want to plan, and or some there's kind of limitation that doesn't allow you to do so, then go book a tour. Okay, coming on to Scandinavia, Norway is famous for landscape, uh, and also lakes, ponds, and also in Scandinavia, you can also have the opportunity to see like different palaces or buildings, especially in Sweden, that with Stockholm, they have quite a lot, and also around the city of Stockholm is basically pretty beautiful. There are many islands um, grouping together to form the city, so it's something like pretty interesting for most people, that you can try to have a look. And then for this one, it's pretty special. The reason why I put two pictures here, uh, they were different by different people, but at the same place. So I just want to tell the fact that different people have different perspective, and even you have been to the same place, you can get different photos as well. So different people are unique. So that I would say, yeah, just go ahead and take more photos. You may be able to get something that really pretty unique and different from the others. And also, even though you're like sitting on the train, try to walk around if that's possible. Probably if you can get some good photos during that trip. So like that will be the same if you're on the ship. Go to the deck, get some good photos. I'm sure that you'll be able to succeed. And also for glacier, is something that Norway is known for, and also its scenery. So nothing too much to talk about here, but only the thing that I'm going to talk about on the picture on the right hand side actually should be taken by a GoPro. So if I remember correctly, so action camera can sometimes take photos as well. So make sure you take in RAW, and then because it is fisheye, so you have a really different perspective from the other cameras if you have, unless you have a really ultra wide or fisheye lens. So it is something that you may try to make use of. They are not that expensive, so and also it is waterproof. So if you put on waterproof case, you can basically go diving or whatever. So if you are interested in like outdoor activities, water activities, go get a action camera. I would say it is a reasonable investment that you cannot get if you buy other lenses or cameras. And also, sometimes you don't know. Like when I went to Norway 2 years ago, basically what happened is suddenly because of the weather during that time was too hot, and the waterfalls just like basically there's so much water that just basically go through the bridge that when I went to the glacier. So basically you may get wet. So sometimes you have to be well prepared for that kind of stuff. You don't know. It is nature, so it is something that we're out of control. The only thing that we can do is be well prepared. And sometimes that I had a really strong wind situation, barely to stand, so that you have to be well prepared so that you don't get injured. at the first point is like how to keep yourself safe, and also if the situation allows it, then you can take some good photos. So the other thing that I can talk about is the midnight sun. So it's something that within the Arctic Circle and or Antarctic Circle during the summer. So basically, it is a um, I would say an event of because of the Earth, so that basically the sun never sets. So which means during summer of these Arctic regions, you have a really pretty long daytime. So that it is something that you can look for, and also, or actually the midnight sun should be like during the winter. But if you go there like different during different regions, you should be able to get different stuff. So that's why this is about the importance of the seasons. So coming on to UK, when many people think of Europe, London would be like one of the first place that you can think of, and basically you have like different around the cities, or like museum, or some architecture buildings, especially with their art. Like for the whole Europe, you can see lots of designs, uh, buildings. Even though they build the new buildings, they will just make it look like the existing one, so that it doesn't look too awkward. So basically, you can visit like different castles, cathedrals, and around the city, and probably get some pretty good architecture photography. So the next thing would be America. So that would be Space Needle, or like it's general sceneries of places that you can go. Um, like for the Butcher Garden, or sometimes like on the for the left bottom photo, that would be something that just stopped. I was joining a local tour, and it was just like stopping in the middle of the way, a parking lot, and then you can get some good photos. And also like explore around, take your photos there, because you don't know when rainbow will happen. So you can try out, and also Canada is known for its Rocky Mountains. So if you have the opportunity, you can go there and have a look. And the next thing that we'll talk about is about fireworks. So basically, for fireworks, you need a tripod, and of course you have to plan ahead. Again, plan ahead. Why? Because you have to know when they will have firework, so that you have to plan, go there early, get a good place, and set up your tripod, so that you can take some good photos. And also, like sometimes you can walk around the city, walk around different parks. You can get some good photos as well. So coming on to South America, that will be Machu Picchu in Peru. And also, like if you have the opportunity nowadays, of course, it is extremely difficult to get there. Um, like Brazil, they have like parades, and also in some of the South American countries, they have different kinds of sceneries. The only thing is, I think you should join a tour if you want to go there. It's not something that yourself can pretty handle for places like that. So I would say for general people, unless you have really, really super experience in travel, otherwise, join a tour would be something that you can look for. So the last thing would be Antarctica. So I haven't been there, but I have watched some YouTube videos, and so know a little bit, so that you get to help you to get a little bit know about Antarctica. It is a place that you can go. So how basically? So just go on the Google Earth, and I'll just show you a little bit about Antarctica. Basically, it's where you can, which part of Antarctica you can travel to. Not all the whole Antarctica you can travel, definitely is not reasonable. So the only thing you can go is like from Ushuaia, from that would be from Argentina, and then you can go to Falkland Islands, South Georgia, and also the Antarctic Peninsula. That's it. This is the regions that tourists can go. Basically, that will be take you around 10 days to 2 weeks. Uh, I would recommend you to go on a smaller cruise, because that means that you have the opportunity to go on land and explore the places there. Otherwise, there's no point if you spend lots of money flying half of the world and then get there and then just stay on the cruise ship. It doesn't make sense. So yeah, you can try to make sure you book the tours in advance. It's really important, and also be careful of the season, because basically they are open for like from November all the way to February or March or something like that. So they have a really short period, and you have to make sure you book in advance. Sometimes people like plan ahead, like half year or even 1 year. It is not something that it sounds crazy, but it exists on the world. So for landing, you basically have to go on expedition ships so that you have more opportunities to go there for landing. And basically, they will take you on a Zodiac cruise so that you can land on the island. And also because there's no pier facilities there, so basically that you have to go on Zodiac. That means you have to have some waterproof bags, shoes, clothes. I think I'm not the expert of that, but just want to give you an idea of what you can do there, so that you are well prepared for that. So basically, if you book the cruise ship company will tell you what you have to bring, um, so that you have to be prepared for, because you're spending lots of money for that. And same for the camera, actually. So what lens should you bring, or what kind of equipment should you bring? Um, Definitely you need a standard lens in case something that get really close to you. But for Antarctica, is something that you want to take like animals, penguins especially. So you need a bit of telephoto lens. So like let's say 100 to 400 millimeter with something that you probably want to bring. I personally don't think you need like 800 or something. That would be too far. Sometimes when you get close to you, so you cannot zoom out. So I would personally prefer the zoom lens, because you don't know where the animals is coming out from. So and also waterproof, really important, especially on your Zodiac, or like if you are like taking any of like ships or whatever. Waterproof is something that you may want to, even like inter islands for Southeast Asia or Maldives. You have to prepare, because sometimes you get wet, and you don't want your camera to get wet, otherwise it will just broken, especially for seawater, because it has salt in it. If you soak it into it, it is really hard to fix it, and it may damage your camera. So that is something that you should be aware of and be well prepared for. And also, of course, uh, penguins. Make sure you remember the fact that penguins never meet with polar bear. I don't make sure that you know about it, because polar bears live in Arctic region and penguins live in Antarctica, so they never met together. If that's clear. So basically, uh, that's pretty much what I have for you guys today. So if you have any questions, feel free to put in the chat or on the Facebook comment, so I can answer before we wrap up this talk. So ways to learn more. Kara and Nate definitely recommend. They are not like photographers, but they have been to a couple from US. They have been to lots of places around the world. So if you want to know more places for travel in general, highly recommend. Calafate Photography based in Melbourne, but they are in Chinese. But I would say like some Australia place that you can go. You can go there, and also for Francisco, that will be for travel video, time lapse, like Iceland or Dolomites, or like different kinds of places, great places to go. So that and also like I haven't mentioned Iceland here, but Iceland is a really good place to go. But only thing that you have to do is like you drive by yourself if you have like quite a lot of driving experience, because the it can be get really windy or snowy there, so you have to be prepared for that. And also otherwise you can take a genre tour, go around the islands during the summertime, so that you can go on the volcanoes, like beaches, lots of good places there. I wish I can go. Um, and also without their help, the photo talk of today won't be succeed, so that I cannot show you the photos that we have got today. And lastly, that will be make sure that you take only memories and leave footprint. Be a responsible traveler, so that you should protect the environment that we have, so that our next generation will be able to see the sceneries that we have seen today. And if you have any questions, feel free to put up here. Otherwise, that will be the end of the photo talk of today. And thank you for listening, and make sure you enjoy your trip.